family members of his victims unload.
My message to him is I hope he rots in hell.
Why Bulger refused to speak in court, and why a juror who helped convict the former mobster now regrets her decision.
30s today, but it gets better from here. We'll be approaching 60 in your AccuWeather forecast.
New Hampshire firefighters rush into a burning home and save a life. The victim in this rescue has 4 legs.
And this is Boston Strong. First responders cut a big check to a Boston hospital that's helping so many marathon bombing survivors.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
In prison, but still trying to call the shots, former South Boston mob boss Whitey Bulger gets an earful from the families of his victims, then refuses to address the court one by one. They took the stand during Bulger's sentencing hearing. Good evening, I'm Paula.
And I'm Johnathan. Eilias. Good to have you along this evening. At times, they were angry, and you can understand. And at times, they were emotional. We have live team coverage tonight at the federal courthouse in South Boston with Beth Johnathan and Jim Armstrong. And Jim, let's start with you. These families, they did not hold anything back.
Johnathan, they all approached it differently. Some of them cried, some of them shouted, some of them swore, some of them actually forgave Whitey Bulger for murder. One thing almost all of them do have in common, though, they all say at this point, they simply need to move on with their lives.
It did feel good to describe him for what he is, a bag of jailhouse rags waiting to be placed on cold steel, and I hope he enjoys every day of his retirement there.
David Wheeler's father, Roger, was murdered on Whitey Bulger's orders as part of a complex scheme to take over Wheeler's Oklahoma highlight business. Today, Wheeler joined 11 other family members facing the convicted mobster, or at least trying to.
He's not a very brave man. He won't even look at you.
Though a few family members pleaded with Bulger to make eye contact, he mostly kept his head down, back turned. "You won't even turn around to look at us, coward," shouted Patrick Callahan, whose father, John, was also killed.
He did not want to validate the trial by participating directly or indirectly through us in the sentencing process.
So Whitey sat silently in his standard issue bright orange jumpsuit from the Plymouth County Jail, refusing to talk, still feeling like this prosecution was, in his words, a sham.
From his perspective, he did not receive a fair trial.
I don't think he has remorse. No.
Bulger's lawyers gave the judge no guidance in terms of his sentence, but the government went full force. To him, human life meant nothing, explained prosecutor Brian Kelly, adding, the carnage that he has caused is grotesque. The U.S. Attorney's Office wants Bulger sentenced to a pair of life terms plus 5 more years. The judge will announce her sentence tomorrow morning.
Most victims' families say the federal government is to blame as well for letting Whitey Bulger get away with all of his crimes for so long. Coming up tonight at 6, you'll hear from a top state law enforcement official who says those families are absolutely right. Live outside federal court, Jim Armstrong, WBZ News. Johnathan?
All right, Jim, thank you. And these are the faces of Bulger's victims and those that accuse him of killing their loved ones. The jury convicted Bulger in connection with 11 murders, but prosecutors originally charged him with 19. Now, after this morning's hearing, some of these family members spoke outside the courthouse. Beth Johnathan joining us live in South Boston with that side of the story for us. Beth.
In fact, over the objection of the defense, the judge even allowed families who didn't get murder convictions to speak today. One who was all over, many expressed relief at finally having their say and discussed that Whitey Bulger seemed so disinterested.
They lost husbands and fathers and years of memories. And for victims like the family of Eddie Connors, this final chapter is gut-wrenching.
You gotta be there, and you don't want to be there. And it's just a tough, ruthless thing.
Tough to speak to the ruthless killer who never made eye contact. Even though Teresa Bond, whose father Arthur Barrett was killed by Bulger, demanded he do so.
If I was in the flesh, I'd strangle him. But because I'm not, and Jesus is in me, I forgive him.
But there was little forgiveness among others like the family of Michael Donahue, killed as Bulger gunned for someone else, especially when the mob boss declined to speak.
Absolutely. I thought he's a typical coward. He could have went up there today and even explained any part of what he wanted and not get cross-examined, and he still backed out and didn't do it.
That's his thing. He wants to be in control all the time, and if he had something to say, why didn't he say it today?
The remains of Sean McGonigle's father, Paul, were among those found on a Dorchester beach, and he recalled for the court Bulger's chilling words.
He called me house sick. I said, "Who's this?" And he said, "You'll never see your father again." I asked who it was. He said it was Santa Claus.
There was mixed satisfaction for Stephen Davis, whose sister Deborah was killed, that he could speak, but little in the fact the jury came back with a no finding in her murder. His fight goes on.
I want to get a verdict. I'd like, like I said, I'd walk away man at ease. I hope my family feel the same.
Now, the only family here for Whitey Bulger was his brother Jackie, who refused to speak with reporters. And when he is finally led away tomorrow, many say it will certainly be a feeling of satisfaction. Reporting live from outside the federal courthouse, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News. Paula?
Beth, thanks. Whitey Bulger's criminal history started very early. His first arrest when he was just a teenager. Police charged him with larceny when he was only 14 years old. Then in 1959, his first federal conviction for armed robbery and hijacking, he spent 6 years in Alcatraz. After his release, he headed back here to Boston, and by 1972, he was in charge of the Winter Hill Gang. Years of terror followed until December of 1994, and that is when he vanished from Boston. He spent 16 years hiding out in California with his longtime girlfriend, Catherine Gregg. That all came to an end in June of 2011, when a tip led the FBI to him in Santa Monica. Agents arrested Bulger, and he spent the following 2 years in jail awaiting his trial. And in August, a jury convicted the 84-year-old on several counts of racketeering and connected him to 11 murders. He will learn his punishment tomorrow. Now stay with WBZ and our website, cbsboston.com, for continuing coverage of Bulger's sentencing. Later on at 5:30, we'll check in with CBS legal analyst Jerry Leone with his thoughts on today's proceedings. Then tomorrow morning, when the judge hands down the sentence, we will be here to let you know. Johnathan?
Well, Paula, I noticed this. Everybody had something in common this morning if they got out early. They all had gloves on, hats, and scarves. It felt like we were in the dead of winter, but
A scowl, too.
exactly, there was that. But things are going to change, so on the lighter side and the brighter side, things will be getting warmed up. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher tells all about this.
Got about 18 hours to go, and then we'll be out of the deep freeze here. If you take a look across the country, it's cold in Boston. It's 34 degrees. That's chilly for us, right? But it's 49 in Atlanta, and that feels a lot colder down south. 56 in New Orleans. There's this milder air that's just out toward the middle of the nation, out toward the plains, and that's what's going to start heading in our direction as we head toward tomorrow afternoon. But for tonight, 28 in Worcester this evening. It's 31 in Taunton, only 30 in Falmouth. You add in the wind, and it feels a little bit chillier. Certainly midwinter cold continues. Crystal clear skies. If you want to put on the layers tonight, it'll be great stargazing. Clear skies, no humidity. Temperatures back in the 20s, but there will be a few teens, especially in some of those valleys. The Sherwood Valley moving up towards, say, Keene, New Hampshire. This is where we could dip briefly back into those teens overnight. But as we look at the rest of the week, up around 50 tomorrow, way up in the 50s on Friday, and those 50s will keep on going through the weekend. We'll talk about the details there and talk about our next chance for rain. Yes, rain, not snow, in just a little bit. Johnathan?
Eric, we'll see in a few minutes. This just in, the rollout of Obamacare has been bad for the administration. That's putting it nicely for a lot of folks. And now there are numbers to back that up. Only 106,000 people have actually signed up in the first month. That is a far cry from the nearly 500,000 people that the administration was hoping. As Danielle Nottingham shows us, Congress now is asking what went wrong.
The Obama administration says a little more than 106,000 people selected health insurance plans during the first month of operation. Most did so in states running their own exchanges. Less than 27,000 signed up on the federal website.
No one will be satisfied with the numbers.
The White House initially hoped for 500,000 enrollees and points to all the problems with healthcare.gov. Lawmakers quizzed the government's chief technology officers about what could have been done to prevent a disastrous website launch.
No one who is responsible for the rollout is willing to say that we should have done things differently.
Republicans on the House Oversight Committee wanted to know why the launch date was not delayed and why a plan feature to allow consumers to browse plans anonymously was disabled. The committee did learn progress is being made on the website. The time to load a page has been reduced from 8 seconds to less than 1.
Really good progress. Still much what to do.
Almost 1 million people have been able to complete applications on the website or through their state exchange, but haven't selected a plan. Nearly 400,000 who've been through the process are not expected to buy plans because they are eligible for Medicaid. Danielle Nottingham at CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The White House is also working on a way to try helping nearly 5 million people who have learned that they have lost their current coverage. House Republicans are all set to vote on a bill at the end of the week that would let those consumers keep their plans.
Right now, Boston police are investigating the death of a young child. Emergency workers came to Washington Street in the South End yesterday after a call about an unconscious 2-year-old came in, and that girl died at the hospital. State police are searching for the driver who hit a cruiser in a construction zone and then took off. This all happened overnight on the Pike in Grafton. Paramedics took the trooper to a Worcester hospital as a precaution, but he was not seriously hurt.
A developing story in Pittsburgh tonight. 3 students shot just outside of a high school as they were walking to a car. Police just took 4 suspects into custody. Officers found 1 victim inside the school, but police think that that person ran there after being shot. Officials think that the crime may be drug-related. All victims are expected to survive. A local attorney under arrest. Investigators say that he tried smuggling drugs into someone at the courthouse lockup. Our Kate Merrill's live in Chelsea tonight with more on this story. Kate?
Johnathan, the bust happened here at the Chelsea courthouse just a few hours ago. That's when an attorney used his credential to bypass security and was caught with a Class B substance on him. Attorney Michael Lustwig was a client today facing a judge. He was charged with bringing in 5 Suboxone pills. Those are used to treat opiate addiction like heroin. Now, the assistant DA says he was bringing them to a woman on trial for drug possession, not a client of his. But prosecutors say they got a tip ahead of time, so they were waiting for him this morning. Now, he's being held on $2,000 bail. He said he was just trying to help a friend. Now, he's charged with possession and violating drug law. Now, he runs his own practice serving Boston. He's been an attorney since 2000. He specializes in bankruptcy and divorce. He has not made bail at this point tonight. Live in Chelsea, Kate Merrill, WBZ News. Johnathan, Paula, back to you.
Thank you, Kate. Well, tonight a look at the cracked windshield that forced a Boston-bound plane to make an emergency landing. Take a look. The American Airlines plane from Miami landed safely in Orlando. But this Boeing 757 had reached cruising altitude when the crew noticed the crack you see there on the cockpit windshield. No one on board was hurt, thankfully, and no word on what caused the crack.
Well, speaking of flying, if you're heading to Logan to fly out before Thanksgiving holiday, you may want to leave your car at home. Here's why. Massport officials say the parking will be at a premium between today and the Friday, November 22nd. Now, during that period, the agency is offering a special $22 rate for 4 to 14-day parking if you park at Logan Express.
Well, back to school. Mayor Menino's new chapter at BU, and we're there as he meets the student body for the first time.
And the difficult recovery ahead for typhoon survivors. Why it is taking so long for supplies to reach the hardest hit areas. Plus,
nothing that happens won't bring my daughter back. I love my daughter.
A mother's reaction after police hauled her daughter's accused killer to court 3.5 years after the crime.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Right now at Luna, get an incredible 70% off carpet, hardwood, and laminate flooring. 877-241. Luna.
Looking for something a little different for your home? At Circle Furniture, we offer gorgeous upholstery, stylish rugs and accessories, and beautiful New England-made hardwood furniture. Order today for holiday delivery. Circle Furniture, made for real life.
There are a lot of great reasons to visit the Kia sales event. Because you can test drive an Optima with an available GDI turbo engine, a Sorento with available third-row seating and a power liftgate, or a Forte, which gets an estimated 36 mpg highway. Plus, every Kia comes equipped with one of these. Looks like that test drive can last a lot longer than anticipated. See your local Kia dealer for great deals during the year-end sales event.
With one unforgettable shopping day, you can own every moment. This is Premium Outlets. Legendary brands. Abundant selection. And real savings of 25 to 65% every day. Who says you can't have it all? Premium Outlets. Shop brilliantly.
challenge is on. The all-wheel drive Toyota Venza versus the worst winter driving surface AMCI testing can create. Ice. Traction test number 1, front wheels on ice. Traction test 2, rear wheels on ice. Now, all 4 wheels taking on 50 feet of ice. Result, Venza 3, ice 0. The winter-ready all-wheel drive Toyota Venza. Proof it's possible to have utility and style.
Entertaining this holiday season? Get your home holiday ready with gorgeous furniture from Circle Furniture. Our American-made upholstery comes in exciting fabrics and styles. Order today for holiday delivery. Circle Furniture, made for real life.
The man charged with murdering a pregnant Nantucket woman faced a judge this morning. Police found Trudy Hall's remains in April of last year, but they just arrested Quizell Wilson. And as Ken McLeod shows us, investigators say he murdered the woman back in 2010.
Well, I'm happy. I'm smiling, aren't I? It's a good thing.
It was something this mother had waited a long time for. She had just watched Quizell Wilson arraigned for the murder of her daughter, Trudy Hall, who was pregnant when she vanished in July of 2010, leaving behind a blood-spattered rental car with a spent bullet shell inside. The Nantucket woman's remains weren't found in the woods of Falmouth until April of 2012. Truth is, Wilson was a suspect from the start, initially lying to investigators about text messages, calls, and even a rendezvous with Hall in the hours before she disappeared. The married suspect eventually admitted to an affair with Hall and to getting her pregnant, which prosecutors believe was a possible motive for murder.
Did we keep tabs on him? Yes, we knew where he was all the time.
But Wilson wasn't arrested until a grand jury indicted him yesterday, as prosecutors hint they finally have solid forensic evidence some 40 months after the crime.
I said that Trudy would be able to speak to us in a sense, and she did.
Wilson's defense lawyer would love to know why investigators are now pointing at his client after the case had seemingly gone cold.
He hasn't even been labeled a suspect for the last 3 years, and now he's under indictment, so I'm certainly curious as to what kind of evidence they're suggesting.
It's often better to take one's time and get it right.
Still, while the arrest brings some satisfaction for Trudy's family, it is no cause for celebration.
Nothing that happens won't bring my daughter back. I love my daughter, and I wanted my grandchild from her, so nothing, I won't have a closure.
Wilson pled not guilty, but will stay behind bars without bail, at least for now. In Barnstable, Ken McLeod, WBZ News.
Wilson will return to court on January 14th. Right now, prosecutors don't think that he'll bring charges for the death of Hall's unborn child.
The key to economic growth lies in the classroom. That's the message from Governor Deval Patrick. More than 1,000 business leaders, educators, and students gathered at Gillette Stadium today to promote STEM education. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And folks who attended the summit today shared ideas and compared notes about how to help students compete for high-tech jobs. Organizers laid out their goals, including expanding access to STEM programs, reaching students in all communities, narrowing the achievement gap across the state, and preparing students for the jobs of the future. Congressman Joe Kennedy is the chairman of the STEM Advisory Council.
The fastest growing jobs in our economy require a basic skill set in math, in science, in technology, in mathematics. And we want to make sure that we're equipping everybody with the skills that they need in order to compete.
Massachusetts launched the first STEM summit in the nation back in 2004.
And I'll bet everybody went to that meeting this morning with some gloves on, hat, and a big jacket.
No, the big puffy coat is here to stay.
It is for a while. You know, we're going to get some relief this week, which I think a few folks may be looking forward to. Take a look at some of the numbers, and today we stayed in the 30s as promised. 38 was the high at Boston Logan. First time since all the way back in March. It was very close to record minimum high temperature, so basically the coldest high temperature that we've seen on this date. As for the lows, we were nowhere close to the record. The record for the state, 14. We were down to 26 in Boston earlier on this morning. A lot of shivering going on out there, and still tonight, not much improvement compared to where we were last night. The wind chill is 19 on the hill in Worcester right now, 25 in Boston. Chatham feels like 26 degrees. So we're heading out. It's the layers tonight, the scarves, the gloves, still getting a pretty good workout. The cold has really expanded all across the eastern United States. Big dome of high pressure and a really interesting satellite picture today. We had pretty much a completely cloudless sky. Look at the donut hole, the high right in here. The clouds are rimming all the way around that area of high pressure. Basically, when you've got an area of high pressure, you've got sinking air that squashes the cloud development. And so you could pretty much drive from Boston all the way down to Houston and never see a single cloud today. I counted about 20 states that were cloud-free at one point. Lows tonight under those clear skies, 28 degrees in Boston, 24 in Worcester. A couple spots may fall back into the teens briefly this evening, and the lower 30s to upper 20s as you move out towards southeast Mass and the Cape. Tomorrow morning, it'll be another very chilly start. We'll be shivering again. Make sure the kids are prepared for a cold beginning to the day. But as we head toward lunch, we'll start to feel a little bit better than what we saw today. 46 degrees. There'll be a cool breeze out of the west. It'll add a little bit of an edge, I should say, to the actual feel to the air. We'll be up close to 50 during the afternoon. Just compared to the last couple of days, it should feel a lot better outside. Normally, we get a west wind like this during a day like tomorrow, and you'd expect even warmer air, but because it's coming from a cold source, it's not the usual type of air we draw in from the middle of the country. Friday, we'll do a little bit better, way up into the 50s. A little weak cold front tries to move through Friday night, no moisture, so no rain. And Saturday is looking at a good start to the weekend. This is the next storm system we'll watch, but it doesn't arrive until next Monday and into Tuesday. So these numbers may be a nice looking forecast for a lot of you folks out there. 50 tomorrow, 57 on Friday. Great day to be outside. And on Saturday, we'll start the weekend in the mid-50s. We'll talk more about the details there and look to that next storm for next week coming up later on. Paula?
All right, thanks. Well, students at some schools in Boston and Salem will be spending more time in the classroom. The Eilias School in the North End and the Sarah Greenwood School in Dorchester, as well as the Young Achievers Science and Math School in Mattapan, are joining a program that adds 300 hours a year to the calendar. Schools in Lawrence and Fall River already participate.
Today, the state police kicked off their annual partnership with Toys for Tots. Troopers joined members of the United States Marine Corps to launch their holiday toy drive. Now you can drop off new, unwrapped, non-violent toys designed for boys or girls at any state police barracks through December 14th.
When we come back, it's always a big moment celebrating a baby's first birthday.
Still to come for us, how parents are making memories by having their little ones turn a sweet treat into a mess.
Also ahead, helping retired NFL players who suffered brain injuries on the field. And now here, Jack and Lisa with a look at what's ahead at 6.
Paula, Johnathan, thank you. You know, one time it definitely was a heated competition.
Not anymore. Bidders for the Boston area casino license are falling fast. New at 6 o'clock, the new questions that could doom Foxwoods' plans in Milford and leave just a single player in the Boston casino game.
Hey, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means? Wednesday's Child. About 6:17, I'll be introducing you to Chelsea. She's a beauty, and she's a charming 13-year-old. By the way, we took her horseback riding. She told us what she'd like to find in a forever family.
A favorite segment at 6 o'clock, and we'll see you then.
It's Boston's best and brightest holiday tradition, the Faneuil Hall Tree Lighting Spectacular, hosted by Johnathan, Eilias, and Lisa Hughes, with performances by Paula and Keith Lockhart, and the Tanglewood Festival Chorus, plus appearances by Boston's favorite sports teams, and a special guest from the North Pole, November 23rd at 7:30 on WBZ and MyTV38. Presented by IBEW Local 103 and NECA. WBZ is your home for the holidays.
TrustedChoice.com. Massachusetts independent insurance agents, protecting the most important things in your life at the best possible price is what it's all about.
Representing Safeco Insurance.
TrustedChoice.com.
At Volkswagen, we believe everyone deserves a better car. And now, during the Sign and Drive sales event, you're closer to yours than ever. Like the turbocharged Tiguan, the midsize Passat, or the 34 Highway MPG Jetta. And every new 2014 Volkswagen comes with no charge scheduled maintenance, all for practically just your signature. The Sign and Drive sales event is back, and it's never been easier to get a new Volkswagen. Get zero due at signing, zero down, zero deposit, and zero first month's payment on any new 2014 Volkswagen. Hurry, end December 2nd.
When the seasons change in New England, so do the sandwich choices. Introducing Honeydew's new and delicious Willow Tree Cranberry Walnut Chicken Salad Sandwich. It's made fresh to order with delicious ingredients from Willow Tree Farm and served on a tasty croissant. Try one now, or rediscover the original chicken salad sandwich and pair it with a cup of Honeydew coffee. Honeydew's Willow Tree Cranberry Walnut Chicken Salad Sandwich. This seasonal favorite is available for a limited time, so grab one today. Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh.
$21,995. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. TrustedChoice.com. It's where you'll find Massachusetts independent insurance agents who specialize in the protection plans you need at the best possible price.
Representing Safeco Insurance.
TrustedChoice.com.
There's no question sports-related concussions are a growing concern.
No kidding. Now the NFL Players Association just announced a big step to help former football players. Coach Ebben shows us how this program could change lives.
Charlie Batch experienced concussions when he was a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's preparing for life after football and wants a long-term game plan for his health.
Concussions are always going to be a concern, and this is something that really you just don't know how your body is going to react 10 to 15 years down the road.
Batch is signing up for a new program called The Trust, which is part of a collective bargaining agreement with the NFL. Retired players can sign up for physical and neurological evaluations.
There are certainly data out there, studies out there to suggest that these players may be at greater risk for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, and even ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. So, with that certainly comes cognitive declines and motor declines.
Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic and 2 other sites hope to identify potential brain and health problems so former players can receive treatment earlier. Batch says the trust is long overdue.
If we can help identify what some of those problems may be early on, maybe that may solve some of these long-term problems.
The program is free. Anyone who has played at least 2 seasons can join the roster. Co-M, CBS News, New York.
The Players Union received $22 million from the league to set up the trust. Now, the program will also provide financial and career advice.
Smart of them to think ahead.
Yeah,
like him. Well, saved from a burning building.
And when we come back, how firefighters brought this cute little pup back to life.
Have you ever smoked marijuana?
And the mayor of Toronto on the attack after a city council member asked him to take some time away from his job.
And a juror who convicted Whitey Bulger is raising questions about the verdict. Why she's calling the entire trial a sham.
Your weekends just got brighter. Meteorologist Danielle Niles joins the WBZ Accuweather team Saturday and Sunday mornings on WBZ News. Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
When you're merging onto US, cover your ears. You want a truck that helps keep the outside out.
Chevy Silverado delivers a quiet cab that's second to nobody in its class. And by nobody, I mean Ram and Ford. Put Silverado to the test. It's Silverado versus all.
Just announced, trade up to the all-new Silverado All-Star V6 for a total value of $37.50. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Xfinity versus Fios. Who comes out on top? Xfinity gives you 3 times the in-home Wi-Fi speed. Xfinity has way more Wi-Fi hotspots, more shows available on demand, and streaming online. And Xfinity can record 4 shows at the same time. Fios just 2. Fios talks big, but only Xfinity delivers. See for yourself at getallthefacts.com. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Avidia. Find us at avidiabank.com.
It's Sleepy's extended Veterans Day sale. Save up to 65% on a perfect night's sleep. Get Beauty Sleep mattress sets starting at just $199. Sleepy's, the mattress professionals, making the world a better place to sleep.
AdCare Hospital is a medical facility specializing in the treatment of alcohol and drug addiction.
Facing a problem and getting help takes courage, but it's the first step toward recovery.
Call 1-800-345-3552 or visit adcare.com.
Let's make this clear. Toyota offers more vehicles with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive than any other brand. Period. Like the stylish and snow-conquering Venza, the refined and sophisticated Highlander, and Sienna, the only minivan available with all-wheel drive. So see your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive specialist. Clear enough? Ask someone you know who drives an all-wheel drive Toyota.
Now at 5:30, a juror who helped convict Whitey Bulger casts doubt on the verdict on the day that the mobster's sentencing hearing began. And right now, a judge is considering Bulger's punishment. The 84-year-old refused to make a statement on his own behalf.
Inside the courtroom, it was a very dramatic moment. Family members and Bulger's victims and alleged victims testified about the pain he had caused them. But outside, one juror who has no say in the sentence spoke out.
My regret about the verdict is I didn't dig my heels in on all the murder charges and not go with the testimonies of Martirano, Fleming, Weeks, and or John Morris.
So you would have voted to let him go on everything?
I would have voted, there would have just been a hung jury, I suppose, because I wished I had done that now. We were deceived. We were held captive. Bulger, you ask his own attorneys. He offered to plead guilty before this trial even started, and the U.S. Attorney's Office said no.
Now, WBZ legal analyst Jerry Leone is live for us outside Federal Courthouse tonight. Jerry, good evening. Thanks for joining us. And what are your thoughts about that juror's comments?
Well, the prosecution certainly doesn't need this additional drama at this stage of the proceedings, but if I were them, I wouldn't be concerned that this would do anything to tip the verdicts.
She was clearly very emotional there, and so much emotion coming during each of these victim impact statements. By the end, did it surprise you that Bulger chose not to speak?
It didn't surprise me that he chose not to speak at this stage. I mean, during the course of the trial, when he made that decision to say nothing more than it was a sham trial because he couldn't assert his immunity defense, it didn't sound like he wanted to say anything else and resigned himself to the fact that he's guilty and he's going to receive a life sentence.
As our reporters have been pointing out, the victim family members chose various tactics as they spoke to him in the courtroom. Some were angry, some swore at him, some chose to personalize their family member. As you listened to each of them and heard what they had to say, what did you think about what impact they will have on the judge and her decision tomorrow?
Well, I thought it was a very good, solid, compassionate decision to allow all of the families, the surviving families, to have their say in court. It was compelling, especially when you have Teresa Bond and Steve Davis looking at him and asking him to look them in the eye as they allocuted today. It was a compelling piece of the case, and they obviously were very angry, very emotional, and very passionate.
And silence also from the defense team in terms of the fact that J.W. Carney said because Bulger thought the entire trial had been a sham, they would not weigh in on the sentencing recommendation, the normal process to the judge prior to her decision. Is that unusual to you? Did that take you aback at all?
It is unusual that the defense team doesn't say anything or make any presentation, but it sounds like they were directed by their client not to say anything other than it was a sham trial because he couldn't assert his defense. And at this stage, you abide by what your client's wishes are.
Jerry Leone, our legal analyst from the beginning of the Bulger trial, thanks so much. And of course, we'll be bringing our viewers the sentencing as it happens tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Snowfall yesterday. The story's been all about the cold in the weather department, and this evening it's just clear skies from St. Louis to Boston to D.C. and Raleigh. There's barely a cloud to be found. The temperatures will drop off this evening with those clear skies. Looking at lows in the teens to 20s across the region, maybe hovering around 30 in Chatham and New Bedford. Either way you slice it, it is still very chilly, and it will be tomorrow morning when we all wake up. However, we're going to be watching a warm-up. Will rain and snow free through the upcoming weekend, so another dry stretch. The next rainmaker looks to arrive late Monday to Tuesday. We could use some of that moisture still. And we're also watching another break of Arctic air that's going to be working its way in. This one could be colder than what we're going through right now. All the details on it coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, Eric, we'll see you then. Thank you. And tonight, people in the Philippines are absolutely desperate for help after Typhoon Haiyan. But as Shelby Holiday shows us, the complete devastation in the hardest hit areas is making it both difficult to get supplies in and survivors out.
problem here is
14-year-old Silvino Navarro is a survivor of Super Typhoon Haiyan.
what were you thinking about when you were in the storm?
I thought that I will not be living anymore. I thought that I will die, and yes.
Like hundreds of others, Silvino's family is desperately trying to get on a military flight to another island where there is food, water, and safety. But the lines are long, and people here are losing patience.
We're planning to go to Manila or to Cebu because crime is very rampant.
This is what's left of homes, buildings, personal belongings. There are even a couple cars back here in the background. Officials say the storm wiped out 70 to 80% of the structures in its path when it swept through the area. And those who lived through it say it was unlike anything they've ever seen.
I have experienced worse typhoons in my life, but this is the worst so far.
Aid is slow to arrive. Relief groups face many challenges delivering supplies.
The roads are just torn up. So the only way to really get to some of the locations that we need is really by air.
More than 800,000 have lost their homes, and an estimated 2 million people need food. Shelby Holiday for CBS News.
Now, if you would like to help the relief effort, you can go to our website at cbsboston.com. We have put up links on how to donate to charities like UNICEF and the International Red Cross.
Toronto's embattled mayor is on the defensive tonight. Last week, Rob Ford admitted he smoked crack cocaine, and today, nearly every member of the city council asked him to take a leave of absence. Ford immediately began lashing out.
Everyone in this chamber is coming across as holier than thou, lily white. None of you have ever done anything wrong, have you? Ever? Never. Never. The question is, have you ever smoked marijuana? Have you ever smoked marijuana? Hold it. Have you ever smoked marijuana? It's a question. It's simple. A yes or a no. Have you smoked marijuana?
Okay.
The answer, I guess, is yes.
A poll shows more than 3/4 of Toronto voters think Ford should step down or take a leave of absence.
Well, he might be leaving the mayor's office, but Tom Menino has no intention of slowing down. WBZ broke the story. Boston's the longest-serving mayor is heading to BU, where he'll be a professor. But as Bree Season explains, Menino won't be teaching classes.
We're very pleased to welcome Tom Menino to Boston University and to our faculty.
Tom Menino, professor of political science. Courted by Harvard and other big-name schools, he's chosen Boston University for his next employer.
Because I didn't have a passport to get to Cambridge first.
Menino will co-direct BU's new Initiative on Cities, an urban affairs think tank. The group will consult with cities around the world and do research on urban life, things that play right to Menino's strengths.
We believe that we have an opportunity to contribute to the vitalities of cities in the U.S. and around the world. I can't think of anyone better suited to lead such an initiative than Boston's Mayor Menino.
Cities are full of energy and promise these days. They also are full of challenges. So as I thought about my next chapter, I knew that I had to leave city office, but I could keep up the work on cities.
Initiative on Cities is a 5-year contract for Menino. He plans to start February 1st, but says he won't be sitting home in the days to come.
I love the city and cities all over America. Love how they bring people together.
His last day in office is January 5th. That's 20 years and 6 months after Menino first became mayor. He's also got a book deal to write about his tenure. In Boston, Bree Season, WBZ News.
He's a true survivor. When we return, firefighters pulled this puppy out of a burning home and brought him back to life.
We'll show you how a $200,000 donation will continue to help survivors of the Boston Marathon bombing along their road to recovery.
At Mako, we're experts in both collision repair and auto painting. We've serviced over 17 million cars and offer a nationwide warranty. So come to the body shop that's easy, affordable, and reliable. Mako, America's body shop.
Okay, 6 more visits and you'll have your new dentures.
6.
6.
How about 3?
6.
4.
6.
4.5.
6.
5.
6.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Okay, Mrs. Tucker, your dentures will be ready this Friday. You can do that? We do that. No way. Yes way.
No, no.
Yes. Wow.
Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like on-site dental labs for dentures in days, not weeks. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL because your mouth is our mission.
One click on buyatoyota.com and you can find the biggest selection of Toyota inventory in New England. And then see every Toyota special offer there is, even those not seen on TV. Plus, get a free independent trade-in value in seconds. Right now, see 12 different 0% APR offers with up to $3,000 bonus cash. Buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. Don't get caught by surprise. Ask an independent agent about safety insurance enhanced coverage for auto, home, and business. Safety insurance will help you manage life's storms.
The perfect stocking stuffers. The Jewelry Exchange has infinity. Journey circle and cross pendants for $99. Diamond studs for $59. Pearl necklaces $39. And 1-carat diamond and tanzanite pendants $49. Buy diamond and factory direct. The Jewelry Exchange in Sudbury.
Sometimes, less is more. Especially when it comes to knee surgery. See this apple represents your knee. With total knee replacement, the entire surface has to be removed. But with the Oxford Partial Knee from Biomed, you keep up to 75% of your healthy knee for a more rapid recovery with less pain, more natural motion, and a lifetime implant replacement warranty. The new study also shows Oxford patients were more than twice as likely to be satisfied with their ability to perform daily activities compared to total knee patients. Not all patients are candidates for partial knee replacement. Risks include, but are not limited to, loosening, dislocation, fracture, wear, and infection, any of which can require additional surgery. Only your surgeon can tell if this surgery is right for you. Why get a total knee if all you need is a partial? The Oxford Partial Knee. For a surgeon in your area, go to oxfordknee.com.
At Mako, we're experts in both collision repair and auto painting. We've serviced over 17 million cars and offer a nationwide warranty. So come to the body shop that's easy, affordable, and reliable. Mako, America's body shop.
Well, it was firefighters to the rescue. A family pet revived after a house fire in New Hampshire.
You gotta love when they do this. The dog's owners weren't even home when this fire started. And as New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield shows us, firefighters had to use oxygen to bring their best friend back to life.
Nickel, the Shiba Inu, is coughing and has an IV hooked up to his leg. A miracle recovery, though, after being trapped in a fire in this house in Manchester this morning.
He's doing well now. He's drinking some water. He's not having as much difficulty breathing. He's bright and alert.
Nickel was unconscious when firefighters found him on the living room floor. They used an oxygen mask like this, specifically made for pets, and were able to get him breathing again.
Basically what you do is you put that over the dog's snout and you hook straight oxygen tube up to it. They did some compressions on the dog and brought the dog back. And put the fire out.
Firefighters say Nickel would not have made it without the mask. He was all alone when the fire broke out. A passerby called in the blaze. His owners say they feel guilty about not being there and had this message for the firefighters who rescued him.
Thank you so much for saving my dog.
Staffers at Advanced Veterinary Care, where Nickel is being treated, say he should make a full recovery. The house almost a total loss, but the family's most precious belonging, breathing new life. In Manchester, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
Firefighters did great work in that case. You know, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked the fire in the first place, but the family thinks a heater may be to blame.
Helping the center that helped marathon survivors get back on their feet. When we return, the big donation to Spalding Rehab Center.
And the cold is still here tonight, but it is gone by tomorrow afternoon. Warm up in the forecast. We've got the details, couple minutes.
And as we head to break, here's a quick look at what's hot tonight on our website at cbsboston.com. Give it a visit. We're back right after this.
To understand the weather, you really have to go to where it's happening. We're coming to you from as high as you can get in the Northeast. There's nothing like seeing the power of nature up close. That's what we try to do here at BZ. We're putting the miles on the mobile AccuWeather lab. Even when it's calm, we love getting out there, bringing the forecast to your city or town.
We're out at the Top Spiel Fair tonight.
Join Eric Fisher wherever the weather takes him. Weeknights on WBZ News.
Ever hear a gym advertise what you won't get when you sign up? Well, at Planet Fitness, for just $10 down and $10 a month, you'll get no lumps in our judgment-free zone. Join in the club or online at planetfitness.com. Hurry, sale ends November 14th at midnight.
It's a fast-paced world. I love it. Everything at your fingertips. You save time and money. I love to shop around. But insurance? You may think you're getting more, but actually, you could be settling for less. That's why I went to TrustedChoice.com. I found the perfect local Massachusetts independent insurance agent who saved me a bundle on my bundle. A protection plan to meet my needs at the best possible price.
Representing Hanover Insurance Company.
Finally, somebody who loves to shop around as much as I do.
Don't miss the Boston Home Show and Bridal Expo, coming to Cruiseport, Boston this weekend. Each day, you can win an all-inclusive vacation to Aruba, free admission and free parking. The Boston Home Show and Bridal Expo. Visit thebostonhomeshow.com for more details.
What's coming?
A train.
Are we going to ride the train?
Look at how it goes to us. Oh my goodness.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Hey, we gotta be safe. Stand back.
Now, in less time than you ever imagined, you can breathe new life into your basement and add much-needed living space to your home with the Owens Corning Basement Finishing System. Did you know installing drywall can take months? But our system is installed in about 2 weeks with virtually no mess. So in practically no time, you'll not only finish your basement, you'll transform your home. Call 1-800-BASEMENT now for a free video and design consultation. It's a fact. Nobody knows basements better than Owens Corning.
Ever hear a gym advertise what you won't get when you sign up? Well, at Planet Fitness, for just $10 down and $10 a month, you'll get no lumps in our judgment-free zone. Join in the club or online at planetfitness.com. Hurry, sale ends November 14th at midnight.
Beep, up, boop, up, boop, beep.
She says switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds.
Call or click today.
In the days after the Boston Marathon bombings, many survivors regained their strength in the hospital.
But they regained their lives at the Spaulding Rehabilitation Center. And as Whitney Burbank shows us, today Spaulding received a very special thank you.
Tragedy brought them together.
Roseanne screamed, and so I screamed, and I thought we were dead. I thought the lights went out.
It's still very emotional what we've experienced.
During the Boston Marathon bombings, both Mark Fucarill and Roseanne Stoya shared a makeshift ambulance. Boston police officers Jim Davis and Shania Catone rushed the pair to Mass General.
Every step they take is better with better. It makes you realize that, Jesus, we're lucky that they're still here.
Now, all four of them reunite for this. The Boston First Responders' $200,000 donation to the Spaulding Rehabilitation Center.
It means the world to us victims, and that the money keeps coming in because every day you see how much money goes out.
It's where both Stoya and Fucarill still go to learn how to cope with their new prosthetic legs.
They're really a cornerstone in our city. They lead the way in rehabilitation.
About 32 marathon bombing survivors have been treated here, and I'm told the hope for this donation is that it will continue to help them along their road to recovery. Fucarill was the last bombing survivor to leave the hospital.
I still have 4 more surgeries to go just to get me to square one, so we can make further decisions about where I need to go, if I need to still amputate my leg or not.
Stoya admits every day is a challenge.
When you wake up, you're not sure if it's a good day or a bad day. Some days you wake up completely sad and all you want to do is stay in bed and cry.
Despite different struggles, both survivors say with the right care and support, they're hopeful in recovery. Whitney Burbank, WBZ News.
They do the work of the angels. And I got to say, too, and it's worth remembering and repeating that after the bombing, everybody who survived the bombing made it to the hospital. They're all now getting prosthetics. They've survived, and they're being treated, and the embrace that the community has on them is never going to go away. This is 6 months down the road. It's going to be there for 20 years down the road.
Really? And in no other city, a lot of doctors would tell you, with that many people have survived with this balding, it's just an amazing, amazing facility. So good for them.
Well deserved,
That
absolutely.
donation. So you're saying this was a morning the dog would not go outside and was just lying in the heat.
Even with the fur coat, the dog wanted to stay inside. Probably just not the dogs either. The people didn't want to go outside. And, you know, our friends in the water are having some issues, too. Some workers at the New England Aquarium are caring for a dozen endangered sea turtles rescued from cold Cape Cod beaches last night and this morning. Now, 11 are young Kemp's Ridley turtles. The 12th is a green sea turtle. All of them now, they're at the Sea Turtle Hospital in Quincy, where they'll be rewarmed over the next few days and treated for issues related to hypothermia. So not just people affected by the cold, and this one came pretty early. In fact, Worcester, 32 degrees today. That ties the lowest temperature for a high they've ever had on this date. In this picture, you'd say, wait a minute, it wasn't freeze rain this morning. I didn't see anything falling from the sky. Well, Terry in North Attleboro left the sprinklers on last night, and it was cold enough to create a little bit of ice art on the trees. Chilly temperatures all over the map. We were all feeling it earlier on today. Some of these lows were back into the teens. Pepperell, 15 degrees. The low temp. Bedford started the day at 19. Worcester at 20, and even Boston in the 20s. And that's the first morning in the 20s since March 22nd. Twos are lucky today. Take a look at the temperatures on the map, and yeah, it's chilly here, but 49 in Atlanta feels really cold. 44 in Charlotte. It was snowing in South Carolina last night, so a lot of folks dealing with the same thing. Locally, it's 32 in Nashville right now, as well as Lawrence right at the freezing mark. Chatting below the freezing mark at 31. When you factor in a breeze, which isn't that bad when it's this cold, a little breeze goes a long way. It feels like 19 in Worcester, 25 in Boston, as well as in Taunton. So another night, got to bundle up if you're heading out for dinner. Any football practices around the area. Temperatures generally will hold in the 20s, a few teens possible, especially northwest of Boston. Clear skies, brilliant starlight and moonlight. Tomorrow morning, we'll start off cold, but as we head toward lunch, it's going to feel a little bit better. Now, granted, it's not balmy when it's 46 degrees, but compared to the last couple of days, that's going to feel pretty good. Lots of sunshine. There will be a breeze, which will put a little edge on that 46. And as we head toward the evening, heading home around 50 for much of the area. Some of the hills will stay in the 40s tomorrow. So highs around the region, especially as you move toward greater Boston. Best chance of making it into the low 50s with a westerly downsloping wind. Otherwise, a lot of 40s on the map. Keep in mind, now that we're at this time of the year, the average high is 52, so it's not necessarily supposed to be all that warm. Normally, if we had a west wind, high pressure shifting off to our south, I'd say we would shoot right up through the 50s tomorrow, but the source of that air is from a very cold area, so it's not going to be the nice moderate air we tend to get from the plains. We head into Friday, it'll be milder still, great day to be outside. Some clouds will pass Friday night and early Saturday morning, but they're gone for much of the day on Saturday. Lots of sunshine, comfortable temps, and then we'll watch the next storm, but it doesn't arrive until after the weekend. Good news for us. So I'm thinking Saturday and Sunday, we've all got a honey-do list, I think. You know, raking, a lot of leaves that are on the ground. The wind looks a lot calmer for Saturday and Sunday, so we'll be able to get that done. I know there's a turkey trot and Bill Ricca on Sunday for heading out there doing some exercise. It looks like at the worst-case scenario, clouds increase late on Sunday, and maybe some showers by very late in the day. Your WBZ Accuweather 7-day forecast, that next storm starts to move in on Monday, and this one is going to track off to our northwest. That puts us on the mild side, so we should jump up into the 60s. Could get a pretty good dose of rain late Monday and into early Tuesday. 58 is a morning high on Tuesday, but then they fall after that. This next Arctic outbreak, late Tuesday and Wednesday, will be colder than the one that we just saw. We may even stay in the 20s by next Wednesday. Wow. So it's coming back. Enjoy the next 6 before we get there.
We will. Eric, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. There's some breaking news to share with you right now. Officials say 4 Marines have been killed in a training accident at Camp Pendleton in Southern California. The CBS station in San Diego says the accident happened at 11 o'clock Pacific time during a range maintenance operation. As far as any more details at this point, we're not getting them. As soon as we get new information, we will bring it to you. Well, celebrating a baby's first birthday in a big way.
Up next, how many parents are getting the perfect shot with an over-the-top smash cake. And now here are Jack and Lisa. They've given a look at what's ahead at 6.
Well, Paula and Johnathan, he traveled from Sudbury overseas to help Al-Qaeda.
So some people are asking, should he be in prison? New at 6 o'clock, a convicted terrorist reasons he says he should be freed. Also ahead.
Could the stunning no vote on the East Boston casino be a sign of things to come? The latest on the anti-casino backlash.
One of the most important decisions of a lifetime, selecting a college. Exciting, vibrant, challenging, flexible, unforgettable, and in the Endicott College, the world is yours to discover. The first college in America to require 3 internships. With over 2,400 undergraduates and an additional 2,650 students enrolled in the Van Loon School of Graduate and Professional Studies, all on one of the country's most spectacular campuses, located on the historic North Shore, just 20 miles from Boston. Discover the experience. Discover Endicott College.
One click on buyatoyota.com and you can find the biggest selection of Toyota inventory. And then see every Toyota special offer there is, even those not seen on TV. Buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals.
Come on, kids, we gotta go.
Oh, now I gotta go. Oh, can you make that to go? These days, nobody has time to get sick, but MinuteClinic makes it easy to get well. Our nurse practitioners can diagnose and write prescriptions for everything from strep throat to sinus infections with no appointment necessary, so you can feel better in no time.
You guys wanna go to the park?
Yeah! MinuteClinic, the medical clinic in CVS Pharmacy. Accepts Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Find a clinic near you at MinuteClinic.com.
Tell her how your love has grown with 1/3 carat journey pendants for $99. The Jewelry Exchange imports and produces diamonds direct and manufactures jewelry using the latest technology. Compare Tiffany's 1/4 carat diamond 18 carat band for $2,700 with the Jewelry Exchanges for $539. 14 carat is $349, 10 carat $199. 3-stone tennis bracelets are $299 and 1 carat studs are $599. Save up to 80% by buying diamond and factory direct. The Jewelry Exchange in Sudbury.
After 30 great years in business, Bernie and Phil have 2 words for you. Thank you.
It's our anniversary, but you get the gifts.
Buy a dining room and get a $200 supermarket gift card. It's our way of saying
thank you.
100 years ago today, the very first box of Mallomars went on sale. A grocer in Hoboken, New Jersey put the first box of the chocolate-covered marshmallow and cookie treat on the shelf. And because the coating is pure chocolate, Mallomars were originally only baked and shipped during the cooler months, September to March. And even though technology has improved, the treats remain seasonal to keep with tradition. And it is always a popular photo in any baby book, the first taste of cake on that child's first birthday.
But as Carrie Connolly shows us, just an ordinary at-home photo isn't quite enough for some parents anymore.
I don't know if we should even do any white.
The stage is set with banners.
Yep, one more will be perfect.
And flower petals.
Hi.
And here's the star, 1-year-old McKenna.
Happy birthday, dear McKenna.
With an oversized pink frosted cupcake.
So watch them before they get the cake, watch them while the cake is in front of them, and then just having them feel it, and then just start digging in. I think it's fun.
This is a smash cake photo shoot.
I think Pinterest really made it popular, and I have so many parents come in with, pages of printouts that they saw from social media, and I think that really started the trend.
At Hudson's first birthday party, he saw the cake and cried. So his mom opted for a more staged celebration, complete with a green monster cake.
We prepped and prepared for this. He got a cupcake a day, and we practiced every day until the day of the pictures to make sure that he was comfortable with eating the cake with his fingers.
What about the bakers? Do they mind that their delicious and beautiful creations are just smashed to bits?
Cakes are made to be eaten, and sometimes they're made to be smashed, and I am so happy to see it being enjoyed.
But you don't need an expensive cake. A simple cupcake could do the trick, and there are always plenty of ideas online to help spark some creativity. I'm Carrie Connolly, WBZ News.
How can you go wrong? A 1-year-old with a whole bunch of sugar. I mean, seriously.
They're going to smile no matter what. Well, we have much more still ahead.
That's it for us at 5 o'clock, but the news at 6 starts right now.
Unloading on Whitey Bulger.
He's gonna die in jail, and that's what he deserves.
Families of Bulger's victims face him in court during his sentencing. Why the mobster refused to speak.
Financial problems for a would-be casino, the red flags that could kill Foxwoods' move into Massachusetts.
Well, we've endured some cold temperatures and some bitter wind chills today, but the warmer weather is returning. I'll show you when.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
victims get their say, but the only word out of the mobster's mouth was no. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm Jack Williams. Bulger declined the opportunity to address the court today during his sentencing hearing. But 12 people who blame Bulger for their relatives' murders did speak. And they called Whitey a coward, a rat, a punk, a domestic terrorist, and a word we can't repeat on television. The entire time, Bulger even refused to look at any of the families. Our team coverage begins with Jim Armstrong tonight, who was in the courthouse for today's hearing. Jim.
You know, Jack, most families who talk to us afterwards say they weren't even surprised that Whitey Bulger ignored them during these impact statements. Part of that reason might be because the impact statements tended to have a lot more to do with the federal government than with Bulger himself.
The trial became a sham in his mind.
And that's why Whitey Bulger sat silently through his sentencing, refusing to speak, telling his lawyers not to participate either, even as prosecutors tore into him, recommending a pair of life sentences plus 5 years. Prosecutor Brian Kelly told the judge Bulger is a sociopath with a twisted view of the world, adding if the government gets its way, Bulger will spend the rest of his miserable life in jail. A dozen family members of victims read impact statements. Some forgave the mobster. Others say he filled their hearts with rage. I believe he is evil. I believe he has left many lives in ruin, said Kathleen Connors-Nichols, whose father, Eddie, was one of Bulger's victims.
He's a coward.
David Wheeler, whose father, Roger, was also killed on Whitey's orders, was outraged. The mobster refused to look at his victims' families.
He had his chance to face me, and he kept his back turned to me, just like the FBI and the Justice Department have turned their back to me.
Wheeler, like most other victims, says the feds are as much to blame as Whitey, if not more.
Without the FBI, my father would be alive today.
Still, the federal government is in denial.
Some top state law enforcement officials say victims have it right.
People are still in denial as to what went on here in this case. And from my perspective, Whitey Bulger is secondary, because if we were doing things correctly, then Whitey Bulger would not even have existed.
Colonel Foley went on to tell us he feels frustrated by the end of the Whitey Bulger saga because he feels like the federal government hasn't learned its lesson, and he thinks there's a good chance we'll deal with more situations just like this one in the future. Live outside federal court, Jim Armstrong, WBZ News. Jack?
All right, Jim, and by the way, WBZ legal analyst Jerry Leone believes the lasting legacy of this trial will be the damage that Bulger did to the FBI and its reputation.
There's a large divide of trust and confidence in government that still does exist, and I think every day and every year government has to try to build that trust and confidence up with people who saw that this was not government at its best.
Now, the families who suffered the pain of Whitey Bulger's crimes for decades worried this day would never come. Our team coverage continues now with Beth Germano live at the federal courthouse. And Beth, some of these family members had a lot to say.
They did, Lisa, and whether this day would come was certainly a sentiment that many expressed here today. They were as emotional as Whitey Bulger was emotionless, finding their own way to express their pain. It was the family's turn to unleash on Whitey Bulger, even if it was to his back. And the family of victim Eddie Connors used a word repeated frequently.
The fact that he didn't look around and make eye contact, I thought he was a coward.
Their chance to let the mob boss know there are stories behind his victims. Patricia Donahue talked to her husband Michael as the ultimate family man.
I just wanted to really give my husband a personality.
But Bulger's courtroom silence was no surprise to anyone, even if it begged this question from Stephen Davis, whose sister Deborah was killed by Bulger.
Does he know how people feel when they lose a loved one?
Davis's legal battle continues, since the jury returned no finding in his sister's murder. This proceeding far from closure.
I want to get a verdict. Like I said, I would walk away man at ease. I hope my family would feel the same.
They stood as testament to the impact of Bulger's ruthless decades of killing, including Sean McGonigal of South Boston, the remains of his father Paul, found on a Dorchester beach.
There was hundreds of families that he hurt and extorted and really intimidated, and he didn't make that town a better place, I'll tell you that.
But when Bulger is finally led away, for some it will be satisfaction.
He can't hide who he is, and I have complete confidence that he's going to get his just desserts.
And whatever the sentence handed down tomorrow, the victims' families know that at 84 years old, Whitey Bulger will still only see a prison cell. Reporting live from outside the federal courthouse, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News. Lisa? Thank you, Beth. Our team will be in the courtroom tomorrow. Cameras are not allowed inside, but we'll be tweeting what happens when that sentence is handed down. Stay with us here at CBSBoston.com and on WBZ TV for live coverage and reaction tomorrow.
Hey, let's get to the weather. Yeah, it was a little chilly today, but this cold weather isn't going to last, and our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, joins us now with the AccuWeather forecast. Eric?
Hey there, Jack. Good evening, everybody. Today certainly feeling very wintry-like outside, and I think we all noticed 38 degrees was the high temperature. We had this graphic last night with a forecast of 38. It's nice we don't have to change anything. That was the actual high at Logan. Last time we stayed in the 30s way back in March. Been a while, winter back, but as Jack mentioned, it's not going to stay. This cold air that's all over the eastern United States is going to start to move out tomorrow. It's after tonight, as you just noticed. So tonight, another chilly one before we get there. 20 in Fitchburg, 24 the low in Worcester, as well as Taunton, Boston down to about 28. But the 50s return for the end of the week, even close to 60. More details coming up in a few minutes.
And we'll look forward to it. Thank you so much, Eric. Now let's get to a developing story coming out of Washington. The first official numbers in the sign-up for the health care law, and they are much lower than expected. The Obama administration says fewer than 27,000 people signed up using the federal website in October. The state exchanges were more successful. They've enrolled nearly 80,000 people, but that's still far short of the Obama administration's goal, which, by the way, was 500,000. We'll have much more on these numbers and the reaction to them coming up on the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
The man accused of killing his pregnant girlfriend faced a judge today more than 3 years after she was murdered. Quazell Wilson is facing charges in the murder of Trudy Hall. She vanished in July of 2010. Her body was found in the woods of Falmouth in April of last year. Wilson is married, and he's admitted to having an affair with Hall and getting her pregnant.
Tonight, building a better economy in the classroom. Governor Patrick laid out his updated plan to improve STEM education. He's talking about science, technology, engineer, and math. And the governor's goals get more students interested in STEM subjects and will raise their test scores. Get more skilled teachers for STEM classes in every age group, and make sure that students who do get a degree or a certificate in a STEM subject can then find opportunities in the workforce.
Well, a few years ago, we asked, how many casinos will we see in Massachusetts? The question now, will we see any? When casinos were first legalized, there were proposals for casinos all over the state, and now we're down to just a handful. One of the surviving proposals is in serious trouble. John Keller joins us now. John, what's going on here?
Elisa, several things, including hard times in the gambling industry and skepticism from both the public and the State Gaming Commission. Today, the commission raised doubts about the Foxwoods bid to open a casino in Milford, a move that has further emboldened those who want to keep casinos out of Massachusetts altogether. Operational issues. Another day, another round of bad news for the nascent Massachusetts casino industry. The State Gaming Commission was told of financing problems with the casino proposed for Milford, where voters will weigh in next Tuesday.
We've known that they were having trouble getting financing.
And Chairman Steve Crosby says the commission sees no reason to back down from the tough scrutiny that helped torpedo the East Boston plan and has drawn complaints from every casino backers.
This is a controversial industry, and I think if you did a poll in Massachusetts, you'd probably have more or less a 50-50 split.
It's a complete and utter meltdown for Foxwoods.
Ben Paleko of the Metro West Anti-Casino Coalition believes Milford voters are poised to reject the casino.
Casino gaming, this was never done as a way to improve life in Massachusetts. This was done as a way to shovel more money to fund the state operations. It's a backdoor tax.
And in the wake of the no vote from East Boston residents who were expected to embrace the jobs and spending promised from a Suffolk Downs casino, a key architect of that upset is pushing for statewide repeal of the casino law next year. What is happening here?
What's happening here is that the people are smarter than these billion-dollar financiers and developers. We don't need to relegate our individual communities or our state to theme park status, and that's what these developers would have us do.
Now, as they always have, casino proponents point to new jobs and revenue as powerful incentives for a state where residents currently spend millions at casinos right over the border in Rhode Island and Connecticut. And while the backlash builds here, New Hampshire is edging closer to legalizing casinos, while New York State is poised to open up to
prison. The court's decision next.
Plus, back on track, a plan to build hundreds of homes and businesses just south of Boston gets a fresh start.
And coming up in about 12 minutes, Wednesday's child, you're going to meet Chelsea. She loves horses, she loves to dance, and she dreams of finding that forever family.
Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to some milder air. We'll kick the wintry stuff out of here by the time we get toward the end of the week. Forecast is on the way.
Looking for something a little different for your home? At Circle Furniture, we offer gorgeous upholstery, stylish rugs and accessories, and beautiful New England-made hardwood furniture. Order today for holiday delivery. Circle Furniture, made for real life.
Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Subaru takes you safely on adventures and brings you home memories. Buy a brand new 2014 all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza, well equipped for only $17,895.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
You worked hard to live your best life. And Rite Aid has what you need to keep you there, including a free review of Medicare Part D prescription plans with a pharmacist. Get the right information to pick the plan with the best value based on your Rite Aid prescriptions and avoid the possibility of overpaying, as plans can change year to year. And another Wellness 65 Plus benefit, save 20% off almost everything the first Wednesday of every month. Enroll free today.
Hi. Hi. Do you do free exam and x-rays?
Exam and x-rays? Yes.
Free?
No.
No free exam and x-rays.
Exam, yes. X-rays, yes. Free? No.
You're nodding yes, but saying no.
Yes to no. No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Are my first exam and x-rays free?
Completely free.
Free? Zip? Zero?
Nada.
Nice.
Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like offering free exams and x-rays. Call 1-800-ASPEN Dental, because your mouth is our mission.
Anything that comes my way, I will defeat it. It will not defeat me.
I never thought I was different. It was never really concerned with me. It's like, this is who I am, and you do the best with what you got. There's obstacles in life, there's obstacles on this course. It's how you deal with them and how you're able to overcome that defines a person.
Critics and audiences raved when Boston Ballet debuted Mikko Nissinen's brand new production of The Nutcracker. Beautiful, glamorous, and magical, the dancing shines. Filled with delights cheered the press. With exquisite sets, costumes, and choreography, see this dazzling new production of a sparkling classic. A holiday treat for the whole family. Opening November 29th at the Boston Opera House. Purchase your tickets now. Boston's #1 holiday tradition will sell out. Visit bostonballet.org today, presented by State Street Corporation.
Entertaining this holiday season? Get your home holiday ready with gorgeous furniture from Circle Furniture. Our American-made upholstery comes in exciting fabrics and styles. Order today for holiday delivery. Circle Furniture, made for real life.
Tonight, an appeals court agrees a Sudbury man was trying to help Al-Qaeda and kill American soldiers. And he won't be getting out of prison anytime soon. We're talking about Tariq Mahana. His conviction was upheld today. Mahana is serving a 17-and-a-half-year sentence for sharing Al-Qaeda documents online and plotting to kill American soldiers overseas. The defense argued Mahana was just spreading his fuse. But the appeals court disagreed, calling terrorism the equivalent of the bubonic plague.
New at 6 o'clock, a new start for a massive project south of Boston. Work crews broke ground today on University Station along I-95 in Westwood. This is going to include Wegmans, Nordstrom Rack, Target, and other retail stores, and more than 400 homes. This project has been on hold since 2010, when the financing fell through. Now, this project was first approved by the town back in 2008, and since then, a lot of competition has popped up, starting with Patriot Place in Foxborough. That opened in 2008. A year later, Legacy Place opened in Dedham. This one is very popular and very close to Westwood. And there's a new retail center now in the works for Sharon, although the future of this one is unclear because the developer recently pulled out of the project.
Well, as One of those tough mornings to get out of bed. Temperatures very chilly out there to start the day. Even this afternoon, we didn't do too much better, even with full sunshine. High temperature in Boston, only 38 degrees. It's the first time we stayed in the 30s since back in March. And in Worcester, the high was only 32. That tied a record low maximum. So basically what that means is the coldest high temperature that they've ever seen on this date. In terms of record lows, nowhere close though. That one, 14 degrees, way back in the 1800s. This is the image that was really the most striking to me when I came into work today. We had a satellite picture with a huge donut hole of basically crystal clear skies right in the middle of the nation. This is a big area of high pressure. High pressure means that air is sinking where it lives, and so that squashes any cloud development. You could drive from Boston all the way down to Texas and not even see a single cloud out there. And underneath that high pressure, some chilly temperatures, 42 in St. Louis, mid-40s in Atlanta, 60 in Orlando. You know, in Florida, 60s don't go over very well, and then you get toward the 50s and 40s later on tonight across the peninsula. Locally, 34 in Boston, 31 in Taunton. Worcester's at 27. There's a little bit of a breeze out there, but a little wind can go a long way. The wind chill is 19 in Worcester, and it feels like 26 in Falmouth. So another wintry night expected. Temperatures will fall back, then they'll steady a little bit after midnight. So we'll generally be in the 20s. A few teens are possible, especially into southwestern New Hampshire, now toward the Neshoba, Merrimack valleys later on tonight. Crystal clear skies, good for stargazing. Tomorrow morning, we're all bundled up again. It's going to be an extra hot cup of coffee off to work type of day. But as we head toward the lunchtime hour, maybe you can walk right outside. We've got the mid-40s, breezy out of the west, but lots of sunshine, upper 40s to around 50 during the afternoon. And compared to the last couple of days, this is going to feel like a nice bit of relief. Around the region, the best chance of the 50s is out across eastern Massachusetts. Nice westerly wind, that's a down-sloping wind for us. The average high in Boston this time of year is 52 degrees, so it's not exactly supposed to be tropical when you head toward the middle of November. You already knew that. Take a look at what happens as we head through the rest of the week. High pressure slips off to our south. That'll give us a nice mild Friday to get outside. If you want to get around to golf, run outdoors, Friday's your day. A few clouds might come through Friday night and early Saturday. They're gone by Saturday afternoon. We're looking at sunny skies on the East Coast. This is the next system we watch. It's going to wind up into a big storm off to our west. We'll be on the mild side of it, so it means rain and not snow. So the weekend pans out like this. Temperatures actually a bit above average in the 50s. Saturday looks great. Clouds may start to increase on Sunday afternoon. Not a lot of wind either day. If you've got a big pile of leaves out in the yard, and I know a lot of us do, it should be a good weekend to take care of some of that yard work. Your WBZ Accuweather 7-day forecast once we get past the weekend. Monday, it'll be a very mild day as that storm gears up across the Great Lakes. The rain will start to move in. Hopefully, we'll see some significant rainfall out of that. And behind it, another big Arctic outbreak, and that one looks colder than what we're in right now. So get ready. Enjoy the next 6 days before we get there. Jack, Lisa, back to you.
Definitely will. Eric, thanks. This young Celtics team really coming together.
Surprise, surprise, they went from, well, worst to first. That's kind of a familiar refrain.
We've heard that once or twice around here these days. All right, yeah, Red Hot Celtics will go for their 5th straight win tonight as they host the Charlotte Bobcats at the Garden. Jared Sullinger will miss the game with a bruised right knee. The first-place C's have been winning and playing unselfish basketball of late, and head coach Brad Stevens has to be happy to see his guys putting the team first.
The thing that guys like to do is win. These guys are smart enough to look out there and say, we've got to play together if we're going to win. And the minute we stop playing together, we're probably not going to win, and hopefully we continue to do that.
We'll see tonight. All right, no practice for the Patriots today. Bill Belichick, by the way, wouldn't comment on the chances of the team picking up veteran safety Ed Reed, who was cut by the Texans, cleared waivers, and is now a free agent. Meanwhile, Levin Reed tells us that the Pats are hoping to get some of their banged-up guys back for their Monday night matchup with the Panthers.
Carolina is next, and the Pats are hoping to have some key players back for Monday night. This will be the first time Shane Vereen can be back in the mix since injuring his wrist in Week 1. Tom Brady's looking forward to having him out there.
He's a very dependable, consistent player, so, the more of those guys you have on your team, the better you are. So he's really been that and played a really important role for us the last few years.
Key Talib has been at practice, but he hasn't been in a game since Week 6. His teammates want him back.
He's an extremely talented player. We all know that. Whenever, he can join us, we'll be happy to welcome him.
They're going to need him because the Panthers receiving core can get after it. From top to bottom, they are a solid group.
With all the guys they had with Smith, LaFell, and Ted Ginn, and then you put that with Cam Newton's ability to throw the ball downfield and to keep plays alive. It's going to be a tough matchup for us in the secondary.
Now on to Monday night, and after 14 years in the NFL, Tom Brady has seen it all, but he still feels Monday night is special. He says the game motivates him. It helps to raise
Thanks, Lev. Looking forward to All Access coming up. Patriots All Access Friday night at 7 here on WBZ. Two interesting guys. Steve Burton sits down with Rob Gronkowski. Should be fun. Start your Sunday morning with Patriots game day at 11:30. Pats and Panthers play on Monday Night Football right after the game. Tune over to MyTV 38 for our fifth quarter postgame show. And Saturday will be senior day for the Boston College football team as the 5-4 Eagles host North Carolina State, needing just one more win to become bowl eligible. Win or lose, though, it'll be a very special day for a rebuilding program that was just 2-10 last year.
You know, everything that I put in the last, 4.5 years is coming to a close, and to end it here with a win would be huge. It's going to be a really emotional day for a lot of guys. It's been a quick 4 years for a lot of us, and it's been 5 years, and just a lot of emotions going through, and what an opportunity. It's our sixth win and be bowl eligible on senior day.
And good luck to them. And by the way, the Red Sox telling us Dustin Pedroia just had his thumb surgery, left surgery, less of the serious 2 surgery. So good news, and Ben Cherington, the GM, saying fully confident that Pedroia will be good to go starting the season. And think about it, he hurt that thumb opening day in New York and played the entire year with it. Kind of tells you a little bit about his character.
Tough he is.
Thank you very much, Dan. CBS Evening News is coming up next at 6:30.
And Scott Pelley joins us live from New York with a preview now. Scott?
Jack, Lisa, great to be with you in Boston. We got a hold of a government audit today that says that about $1 billion in U.S. taxpayer money has been spent on an airport security program that may not be making Americans any safer at all. We'll have that story and the rest of the world news for you on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. Coming up next on Wednesday's Child, let's go horseback riding with Chelsea. She's funny and honest. She even admits she hates school. But she's smart, and she would make a wonderful addition to a family.
Someone's turning miners into monsters.
It builds them to be hardened soldiers.
Make me proud.
Evacuate the area.
Back up! Criminal minds. Then, what's that? To solve this crime,
Mother!
just follow the bouncing ball.
I want you to get this to coroner's office.
Have a ball. And it's nothing compared to what's inside the box.
Oh! That is no toy.
Okay. A new CSI after an all-new Criminal Minds. CBS tonight.
We don't want to sell you a mattress. We want to help you find a better night's sleep. Try the Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid, which combines gel memory foam with a deep-down supportive springs. This week, get an additional $100 factory rebate on any Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid sleep system.
Who calls Amica for auto insurance? People who know what value is all about. Because when you call Amica, you get more than a great price. We'll talk with you about your coverage options, answer every question, and customize a policy that's perfect for you. It only takes a few minutes to get a free, no-obligation auto insurance quote. So call Amica now. We also offer a wide variety of auto insurance discounts, and we'll make sure you save every dollar possible from every discount you qualify for. When you call, ask how you can save even more by combining your auto and home insurance. Then you'll have your policy with a company recognized for customer service. And if you have a claim, that's when Amica really proves our worth. With claim service that will take care of every detail and is there for you every step of the way. For the savings and the service, it's always worth it to call Amica. Call 866-58-AMICA. See how much you can save today and meet the company you'll stay with for good.
Beautifully practical and practically beautiful Cadillac SRX.
Lease this 2014 SRX for around $369 per month. Visit newgoodcadillac.com for this attractive outfit.
Sealy Posturepedic Classic at Bernie and Phil's.
Find a wide selection of Posturepedic starting at just $3.99 for a queen set. Plus free next-day delivery and free setup and removal. No wonder Bernie and Phil's is the #1 Sealy dealer in New England.
Now on Wednesday's Child, we meet a charming 13-year-old girl who absolutely loves horses and farms.
Her name is Chelsea, and she's very articulate. Well, off we went to a horse farm in Sherwood.
I love being here and I love horses.
We visited Sweet Meadow Farm in Sherwood. Paired with a sweet-natured horse named Jude, Chelsea was in seventh heaven.
Hey, Jude.
Hi, Chel.
Hi, Jeff.
You know what? You're cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're fun. And I understand you love horses.
I love horses.
Why?
Because they're fun to ride on and it's exciting when you can get to know them.
Chelsea says she hopes to find a family with a farm, and she promises to do the chores.
I describe myself as funny, sweet, cute, lovable.
Yeah.
Great to hang out with.
I bet you're fun to hang out with. You've been a lot of fun today. You're easy to get along with. Anybody ever told you that?
Yeah.
As you can tell, Chelsea is unique.
I hate school.
Which class do you hate the most?
I hate math and I hate PE.
Really?
I like social studies and lunch and I like to be with my friends. And I like to dance.
Do you? I see you got the moves, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I was never crazy about math either.
I got a big kick out of her. She is not dumb. She's a very smart, very articulate. And, you know, she's been through a lot. She misses her birth mother, but I think the right family, I think she's going to blossom.
Well, and she has such a nice personality.
She does.
Really nice.
I love being with her. For more information on Chelsea, call the Massachusetts Adoption Resource Exchange, 1-800-882-1176, or check out my website, JackWilliamsWednesday'sChild.com.
And we'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Harvey. Take advantage of new lower prices and a $200 rebate from Harvey. Visit HarveyBP.com.
When you wake up in the morning, one of the first things you need to know is what's the weather going to be like, what you should wear, how you should dress the kids.
It looks like a chilly one today, Todd.
Yeah, Karen, you really have to bundle up the kids at the bus stop this morning. You know, we're always visiting local schools, teaching kids about weather. What is 32 degrees Fahrenheit? So many teachers, so many parents come up to us and say, you're a big part of our morning routine. And that's what I really love about doing this. You guys are so awesome. Look at this.
Start the day together with Todd Gunner. Mornings on WBZ News.
It's Empire Today's Whole House Sale. Buy 2 rooms and get carpet for the rest of your rooms free when you pay for padding and installation. Schedule a free in-home estimate now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Real marble at above all value king price.
Each piece has real marble and self-closing drawers.
Dresser and mirror with real marble and hidden storage.
Queen bed with real marble.
5-door chest with real marble.
Nightstand with real marble and a nightlight.
It's the ultimate in luxury.
Not $10,000, not even $5,000. All 8 pieces for only $29.99.
Quality, choice, value, extreme. Come join Bob's All Value Team.
This is the land of Kerrygold. Here farmers graze their cows on lush grass, as nature intended, and this great grass gives us the delicious butter that we call Kerrygold. Kerrygold, pure Irish butter.
Coming up tonight here on WBZ News at 11, the I-Team tracks down the latest legal high and why some doctors are saying it could be dangerous, especially for teenagers. Well, parents need to know about a substance that is legal and easy to get here in Massachusetts. That's coming up tonight at 11 right here on WBZ News. And before we go, looking forward to this change that's coming in the forecast.
You're not digging the cold thing.
You know what?
Can we take a survey? Is anyone enjoying the cold weather? All right, we got one. All right. Around 50 tomorrow. 50s on Friday. It'll feel good.
You'll like that too.
I'm brain dead, so who cares? Hey, that's it for us. Have a great night.